Tiny homes on wheels appeal to me because of the flexibility that they have, being able to move, especially with the climate crisis. There's a peace of mind that it brings me being able to move. And I settled on an Airstream after researching tiny homes versus RVs or trailers. And for me, I wanted to be able to tow myself, which kind of eliminated large tiny homes and larger RVs. So I ended up with an Airstream, and they're also super classic and vintage, which is very much my style. Hi, my name is Sarah, this is Albus, and this is our tiny home here in Asheville, North Carolina. I've been living tiny for about 3.5 years. This is a 73 Avion LeGrand, and it is 29 by 7 feet. I am on a private lot here in Fairview, North Carolina, just outside of Asheville, and it has full hookups. So there's water, septic connections, Wi-Fi connection, and electric. I like the proximity to Asheville. I was living probably twice as far out before, so this feels pretty accessible, and the people that own the land are wonderful. I love the peacefulness of it. There's a creek running through here, the trees, and we just got 2 horses, which are really cool. And I do have a small patio space just in the back of the trailer as well, with a fire pit, hammock, and dining table. Come take a look. Welcome to my tiny home. This is my Avion. It is 29 feet by 7 feet. And the reason I chose this trailer was all of the windows and natural light that it lets in. This is my tiny kitchen. I largely kept the footprint in here the same, but you can see I put in my own cabinet fronts. I get asked about these a lot. This is a caned webbing. And I chose this because it's lightweight and it adds a lot of texture and kind of plays off the retro feel of the age of the trailer. But it also is super functional for these types of spaces because it allows airflow into the cabinets. So especially in the winter, it helps circulate the heat and keep things fresh in there. I did update the countertops. I put in a new sink and stove. I don't use the stove a whole lot this time of year being so hot, but it is really nice to bake little pies in the winter. On this side, this cabinet actually came out to here, and they had a 70s style little mini icebox fridge in here, but we took out that whole cabinet. Wasn't the plan, but the fridge was actually like built into the cabinet, so we ended up having to do that. And then I put in a regular size apartment fridge and microwave up top. Against everyone's recommendations, I did a real tile backsplash. I actually did put up a peel and stick and hated it, and came up with this kind of like mini backsplash idea to get my tile in, and I'm happy to report it has not fallen off or broken on the road. And yeah, I'm really happy I didn't listen to everyone. My interest in small spaces started in New York, where I was living in a 500 square foot studio. And in 2016, I did a road trip moving from New York to San Francisco. And that's where I really fell into the tiny house kind of world and started thinking about what that might look like for me. My favorite thing that I love about tiny houses is probably just the challenge of balancing aesthetics and functionality. Living in a travel trailer as opposed to a house is different. When it rains, this is metal, so it's super loud. Thunder, lightning, all of that, you're sort of more in a vehicle than you are an actual structure. When there's hurricanes or tornadoes, I usually leave the trailer because, again, it's not built into the ground like a house is. So I was here during Helene, not in the trailer. I left the night before the storm hit. and got super lucky because a lot of the houses on our street were washed clear away, and somehow my little trailer survived, even though there was a landslide right behind it and it covered the whole back of patio and stopped probably like 3 or 4 feet from the trailer. If it had come further, it probably would have knocked the trailer on its side, and our lot was pretty flooded, so that probably would have been the end of the trailer. So I think it's a little miracle that it survived. When I was considering what type of tiny home I wanted, that I did not want something that comes with you everywhere that would be my main vehicle, like a van life type scenario. I didn't want to take my house everywhere I go, so I did want a separation and something that I could tow by myself. I have a Ford F-150 that can tow this, so I can move it on my own. I don't like to, it's really scary to tow something like this, but I can do it. I would say the advantages are that I don't need to hire anyone, I don't need to wait on anyone if I were to want to move it. Disadvantage is obviously with gas prices the way they are, it is expensive to be driving around in a truck. And yeah, sometimes I'm like, man, a little Subaru or something would be really nice. But I think it gives me peace of mind, and it has come in handy for my business to have the truck. Finding Facebook Marketplace furniture, like it's worked out to have a big truck bed, and whenever my friends move, they ask me to borrow it, so I feel helpful and feel like, yeah, at least it helps justify that I have one if I can lend it out to other people and help them. And then moving back from the kitchen, this is my storage area. This here is my wardrobe. This is my coat closet. And then this is sort of my pantry and basic storage. Coming back into here is my bedroom. In here, again, I kept the layout largely the same. The storage was already here. I did the cabinet fronts throughout. And a lot of people ask me what size bed this is. This is called an RV full. It's a little bit more narrow than a typical full bed, but it is meant for 2 people, but it fits me and Albus just fine. So under my bed, there are flaps for storage, and this is where I keep all of my shoes. The wheel hubs are under each side here. So on this side, there's the wheel hub, and then this slides open if I need to access the water heater. That's where that is. And the skylights are another thing that I really liked about this trailer. When I bought it, the previous owner had actually resealed the roof and gone over the caps with whatever, I don't know, compound he was using for the roof. So it was much darker. And when I replaced them, it was a happy surprise with how much light actually comes in now. So very pleased about that.
Inflation sucks. Price increases at the pump and at the grocery store really add up, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I'm taking a little control back with the free Upside app. It gives me cash back when I fill up, hit the grocery store, or go out to eat. Here's how it works. Open the app, claim an offer, pay with your card like normal, and get paid. It's that easy. And yes, it is cold hard cash. No points that will expire and no credits that you'll never use. How cool is it to get cash back? Just doing errands. Before I leave the house, I check the app for the latest offers and can plan my trip accordingly. Maybe instead of a burger for lunch, I'll get a slice of pizza. Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you can earn, download the free Upside app and use promo code tinyhouse25 to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code tinyhouse25.
Continuing on into my tiny bathroom. We did a fair amount of work in here. This is probably where we did the most. In what is now the shower, it had a very weird, like ceramic bathtub looking thing. So you actually had to step over the wall into there. It was a gross green color, and the shower head was on this side. I knew that I wanted a tile floor against all recommendation, did it anyway. It's held up pretty well. And I flipped the shower head because it is taller on this side and I'm a tall gal, so that made more sense for me. I kept the cabinet and toilet layout largely the same. And this is the same maple countertops that we did in the kitchen. So originally there was a very ugly mirror here. I had them wire in a light fixture, and I chose this one because it kind of has that retro feel and fit the 70s vibe of this trailer. My toilet is a pretty basic toilet. The flusher is right there, and it is not composting. I might upgrade it one day, but since I've been at sites that have septic hookups, it's worked out to just keep it as is. And then on this side, past the kitchen, we come into my office space. I have this side set up to be a little bit more like a living room. It does fold out into a regular size sleeper if there's ever guests. So these drawers pull out, and there is a wood kind of topper that folds out, and then the mattress folds out over it as well. And then over here is my office. I probably spend the majority of my time right here in this zone doing design work and some real estate contracts. Again, I love all the natural light that comes in here. It's super inspiring, and I have a great view of the mountains and the horses, so it's pretty idyllic. I chose this desk because of the storage component to it. I knew I would need something like that. And instead of doing a built-in desk, I chose to get a desk. I do strap this down when I move the trailer. Again, when I was designing it, I wasn't sure how long I would be in it. So I really was thinking through resale value and what other folks might want to use it for. And this is where tiny houses, I always advise people to really design them for their use first and foremost, because, you know, for someone who's retired or traveling around that doesn't, you know, work full time, dedicating this amount of space to a desk would probably be silly, but it makes a lot of sense for me and my life. My trailer itself was in pretty original condition. It's a 1973, and I got it for, this was during COVID, I got it for about $9,000, and then all the tires had to be replaced, so that was another $1,000. So I was about $10,000 in before I updated anything. And the renovation, it's kind of ongoing. So at this point, I would say I'm probably in for at least another $8,000, but some of that has been issues that came up since I renovated. The renovation itself was around $5,000, $6,000. So in total, I'm probably somewhere around $20,000. Tiny house living has given me a lot of confidence when, especially this project, it really taught me a lot about what I'm able to do that I hadn't done before. I've designed a lot of residences, but up until this project, I hadn't personally put my hands on things, changed out sinks, put down tile. So that was really cool to experience. And professionally, it's brought me a lot of opportunities with folks that are interested in either living full-time in a tiny house or an Airstream, and I've also seen some overlap with my original kind of business niche in interior design for Airbnbs, where investors are seeking out kind of small space properties and using them to produce income and revenue, and that's been really exciting professional development. I avoid calling myself a minimalist, even though I live in a very small space, and prefer intentionalist, because I have things. I'm not sparsely decorated or anything like that. I'm just very intentional about what things come into the trailer, and intentional about, if things are coming in, what might be also going out.
Thanks for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian, and this is our DIY tiny house on our homestead in Oregon.
Looking for more tiny inspiration? Watch these videos. But if you're looking for something specific, visit our channel homepage to browse tiny homes by category.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Hope to see you soon.